overcast and damp, to green, light and sunny, Stockport to Morton Paddocks. New home, new job, new baby, new life. Quiet, peaceful village, church, shop, pub, bus stop, college on the hill, real tennis club opposite, village school hidden in the middle. Years trundle by relentlessly. Neighbours change, but not too often. Vicars come and go with little fanfare. Children grow and leave home. Villagers age. Few move on, some die. Friendships grow deep, new groups form. Stability at home and church. Change is significant but infrequent. Major events, the college fire and the shop closing. COVID arrives and tests the fabric. Social isolation, no gatherings. Church shut and silent. School empty. Work and travel compromised. Key worker the new accolade. Nationally, restoration, easing lockdown, local restrictions, new ways of working at home, less travelling abroad, recession, unemployment, tracking and tracing. Locally, family reunions, community restoring, new vicar, schools opening, business and working restarting in the new normal. Buildings the same, with no visible change to the naked eye.
It's our limit.
We've got to get to the glory in there. Lovely.
Good morning and welcome to day 4 of Spark Ignite 2021. Coming up today at 3 p.m. we have a takeover from Petra Kucha. At 12:30 we have a session for freelancers about how they can work and be supported in the district. But first we're with Alex Harvey, co-founder of RIVR, who specialise in photorealistic virtual environments. And in this session we'll be looking about how that can be applied to arts and heritage organisations. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Bronwyn. I'm just going to share my screen. Cool. So I'm Alex Harvey, co-founder and creative director at RIVR. And we make virtual reality experiences for multiple clients all over the world, but mainly in the blue light services. So we, like Alex Foster spoke about the other day, we do a lot of 360 video production, but we also do room scale environments for them for their training. And recently things are moving more into entertainment for us and historical preservation, but we're still focusing on the blue light services quite a lot. So this is the team, or some of the team. There might be some pictures missing, but my current reality, and this was before COVID, so used to be that we would do lots of shows and travel around the world and show people our things. But now, obviously, we do a lot more of these virtual events. My history was Codemasters mainly, sort of 10 years there making racing games. Started in the QA team and then went all the way through to video and ended up making their trailers for TV and cinema and online for all the different games with a team of people. There's like 4 of us in the team and it was an amazing job. But in 2014, I left to start RIVR. It started off as Infinite Pixel, but then later changed to RIVR. But yeah, 2014, we started doing video production, and I'll whiz through these because I'd like to get to the photogrammetry stuff. Alex Foster touched quite a lot on the video in his previous talk. Yeah, video production, 360 tours and weddings was when we started tinkering with virtual reality. And then we did a lot of things with Southern College, teaching them how to shoot their own video content, their school trips and things like that. And then we had a horrible task of going on a cruise ship in the Caribbean with Thompson or Tui. And we did some promotional stuff for those guys. And then more 360, which Alex touched on, Transport for London, blue light services. And now we move into more photogrammetry training, which then is going to lead into historical preservation. So this is some of the scenes that we created for the Home Office, DSTL. And we created their crime scenes for training of different scenarios. And we use photogrammetry in that scene as well. I'm going to touch on in a minute what that is, but this is brushing over how we use it in the blue light services. So one of our main projects is fire investigation. So here we're seeing the burnt scenes that we create. We've done 8 of these now. We burn a container exactly how they do in the real world for their training. And then they go in and investigate the fire, but they can't move things around because another team of people are coming in after. So we scan every item and make a virtual representation of that object and then put it into a virtual reality scenario using photogrammetry, and we use Unity. And once it's in there, they can investigate the scenario and then press a button at the end and everything goes back to normal, and you can play that in multiplayer. You can record it, you've got a torch. So that's our main investigation product. And I do like video, as I was mentioning to the guys. So there is quite a lot of video in this, but I'll flick through it and just show you briefly. This is Investigate running. So it's showing you inside virtual reality, the level of fidelity that we have in these scenarios. So yeah, this is Jason Dean, who helped us create the scenarios. He's a fire investigator. So yeah, more things from Investigate. And we're now focusing on crime scenes. So we're going to be making crime scene investigation as well as fire investigation. And this is one of our latest scenes from, it's actually my mum's flat in Warwick, or house in Warwick. And we scanned the outside of it using photogrammetry and made a representation of it for virtual reality for the crime scene trainers to go in and test out their new methods. So photogrammetry, I've just mentioned it a lot. Here's a little scribble that I did explaining it a little bit. This is the main types of photogrammetry that we use in our in the projects that we do, and you can do it from the ground or from the air, but it's basically taking thousands and thousands of photos, stitching them all together using software and making a 3D photorealistic model of that object, person or place, whatever, show some of these, whatever you're looking to scan. So here, this was a project at Guy's Cliff House. We've done quite a lot of scanning there because I lived in Warwick all my life. Used to live on the Butts, and now I lived on the High Street. And I've got a bit of a passion with Warwick and photogrammetry. So these are some of the rigs that we used. On the left-hand side, you'll see us at Compton Verney, where we scanned the Adam Hall, and I'll show that as long as we've got enough time. I'll show that in a bit. But the rig in front of us here is a 6-camera rig, where it obviously speeds up our photogrammetry by ×6. We used to have to do it with 1 camera, but Ross in the team developed this, which allows us to capture environments much quicker than we have done in the past. And as you see on the left, it can be changed for different environments. Drone photogrammetry is amazing. We've just been on a project down in Cornwall, scanning some sites. Same process, thousands of images stitched together, make a 3D model, but you can't get as close to this and see as much detail as you would if you're on the floor with a 6-camera rig. We were on the Gadget show. I won't play the whole video, you can go and watch it online. But we taught them how to do photogrammetry at Guy's Cliff using the 6-camera rig. So we taught them that you can scan in the Cloisters Cave and then bring the data back to the studio and allow them to make a 3D model for themselves. But then afterwards, we then went down to their studio and put them inside the virtual world. I'll just skip straight to it. But yeah, this is them in the studio putting the Vives on. So we created a multiplayer experience where they're inside the Cloisters Cave. And we also, I think me and Ross got a little bit carried away when we went down to do the briefing scanning session in the studio. We ended up scanning the whole studio and all the items, which allowed them to drop it into Cloisters Cave. I'll just skip forward the video a little bit. But this is available online. Not the experience yet, we might release it, but you can, they've got some cool objects in the Gadget show. So in the background, things like the hoverboard, the guys at the studio modeled the whole set, and you've got a gravity button, so you can press the button and everything floats around. And yeah, that's one of the projects. Capturing the Abbey in Kenilworth, so another local monument. Ross was very keen on this one because he's from Kenilworth. So we actually teamed up with this guy, Simon Shader-Boa, to add some processing to the images. So we would give him the images that we took of this place, and he would scale them up and get more resolution and more textures out of the model. And here you can see multiple camera angles to capture this one. This is another one you can see on the top right. That's a screenshot from Sketchfab. So all of these models now, Ross is having for us to use in virtual reality, but also to have on Sketchfab, so you can see with your phone or a tablet. And the link in this presentation, you can download it and check out all the models. There's a big theme here about scanning things. This was the Speede Map of Warwick that we scanned using photogrammetry. So took it into the office, thousands of photos of it. Again, we've got it in Sketchfab, so you can go and have a look. But it's basically preserved it forever. And now we've put it back in its box, in a cupboard, and it doesn't have to come out to be destroyed anymore or degrade. And this video you can obviously see online as well. I'll skip through it a little bit, so there's quite a few to go through. St Mary's Church in Warwick. I put this on here because it was me basically testing what we could do in a day. So I turned up and did 4,000 photos of St Mary's Church just by one camera, and then I took the photos into the software that we use, Reality Capture, churned the model, took about 6 hours. I've got some big machines, and then processed it and dropped it into Unity and managed to put it into VR in the same day. So this was just a test a while ago to show the fact that you can do this rapid capture. I won't show the whole video, but it goes all the way down to, there was a little like something by the door, and we photogrammetry that as well, so you can lean right in and see that. Just shows the scale from tiny to massive. So yeah, next slide. Compton Verney. This is I'm passionate about this project because it was funded a few years ago by Coventry University and Compton Verney, and we created 2 experiences. One was an owl experience that let you fly around the landscape and experience what it's like to fly around the landscape like an owl, but learn about the landscapes that Capability Brown created at Compton Verney. And this is some footage of them using it in Compton Verney on one of the open days, pre-COVID. Also, the second part of the project was to laser scan and photogrammetry the Adam Hall, but then put the model, the paintings on the wall are not there anymore. So we had to find the paintings in London, photogrammetry scan them, and then put them back on the wall inside the Adam Hall. So now you've got a virtual representation of the hall with the paintings back on, with the frieze on the wall as well. So if anyone from Compton Verney is listening, we'd love to get this either online for people to download and experience, or as an attraction that people can come and have a go at Compton Verney when you reopen. More videos about that. That's the behind the scenes of Scott and Naomi, the people that helped me create it. Now we move on to Leamington Spa Art Gallery and Museum. They came to us with a project of a set of objects. I think it was maybe 15 different objects. You can see Tyrone and Ross here doing some scanning. Ross is doing a really old painting, I think it's 16th century, and quite valuable. So he was I was a bit nervous watching him lean over the painting with his big camera. And Tyrone's doing something that was, I think, 2,000 years old. It was some piece off an old shield. And here we see a little bit of footage that Tyrone's put together of another one of the objects, a toy horse and cart, that Ross is photogrammetry in here. So the client, the museum, would like these objects in augmented reality, so that on your phone you can walk around different places and pop up the objects and see them on your phone or tablet, which is really good. But we want to show them what else they can do, which is, if you see in the bottom of this image, there's the bathroom next door. So we're going to photogrammetry scan that and then put all the objects inside that and create a VR experience as well, so that I can show them that if this is put as an experience, people can download it and meet in this place and hold these objects, as well as augmented reality. So it's just showing that once you've got a model, you can use it in so many different ways. AR, VR, also it could be on a 2D screen like we talked about Sketchfab, and saved, obviously preserved forever. So let's have a look at the next slide. Okay, so a lot of people have been talking about tunnels recently, and I think 2 days ago, Observer or Courier did a post about a tunnel in Leamington going from Newbold Terrace to the clock tower. It frustrated me reading it a little bit, because the article had one photo of the house and then just a load of text. And I'm thinking, we've been doing this project for about a year or two in Warwick, because there's always been this rumour or this myth about these Warwick tunnels. So the little bit of the backstory is 12 years ago, Jarris, were from IP Building Services. He was doing some work on a house in Warwick, and he told us that there was a tunnel. So we went back last year. We didn't have access until last year to go back down, or they hadn't put the story together. But here we did find a tunnel, and we're going back at this weekend, to laser scan a little bit more with the fire service. They're going to do a training exercise in the tunnel, which is handy because we can put laser scanners on them and cameras. So there's lots of rumours of tunnels, and I'm not sure if they were true or not, but this is definitely something to investigate that we're looking at. And we've been told it might be some sort of water tunnel, but it's a little bit of a weird one because it's off a freshwater well. Well, it was once freshwater. So I'm just going to press play on this video as well. I really wanted to show this sort of footage because I was disappointed with the tunnels thing in Leamington, and the fact that we've actually got so much data in Warwick that is so much clearer and we can see a lot more. I think this should be talked about a little bit more. Anyway, the tunnels, we've been down once and we photogrammetried it. The project at the moment is a 2D documentary showing us going down and looking at these tunnels. But at the end of the documentary, you get to go inside the tunnel because we've scanned it. So you'll be on your sofa, you can watch the documentary, and then you can go into the tunnel yourself. So what you're seeing here in the bottom left is Jim, who was awesome, and he actually went down the tunnel with a laser scanner for us and a 360 camera. He went down 3 times, and then just the 4th time he goes down with his phone and he's filming. So he goes down the well 5 meters through a really small hole, and then he's got a left-hand tunnel going sort of up and 3 meters, and then a massive tunnel going in front of him, heading off towards St Mary's Church with a pipe in it. So we do want to get a piece of that pipe and a brick and do some testing on that and try and find out if this was any sort of tunnel. On the left, you're seeing a laser scan, which is the best way for me. We can actually view that in VR as well. The best way for me to jump inside these places and experience where you get spatial feeling of where you are in this tunnel. Me and my brother, I think we're the only ones that have actually been inside the point cloud, and it's a strange feeling to be in there. So hopefully we're going to scan some more, we're going to uncover some more and see if it goes back to the basement or off to any significant buildings. So if anyone wants to talk more about that, get in touch. And this is a render because we did photogrammetry inside the well. So this is the well that we just talked about, the tunnel, but we're coming up from the bottom. So we're coming up from the bottom of the well, and we see the entrance on the left that Jim crawled through. Super small hole. We didn't think it was doable at first, but as he got through, it opened up. And obviously Ross photogrammetry the whole thing. That was another visit. We went back with a camera and we built some scaffolding and dropped the camera down the well. And Ross did about 600 photos with a flash and just captured the whole thing that you're seeing here. So we'll be able to go drop down this with a torch inside VR and go up the tunnel eventually. And I have got a bit of an addiction, which is photogrammetry, and this was me scanning multiple places. I think I took the camera out a lot with me on lockdown during my 1-hour walks and just took lots of photos. So I've captured quite a lot of Warwick using cameras and lasers. And this is just a video going through some of those. People that are local to the area probably recognize some of these places. But in the short bit, all of these scenarios all the things I've shown so far are completely accessible inside VR, and that's with a big computer. And that's sometimes it's quite hard to set up. But an Oculus Quest has come out now, so it's a smaller headset. So we're trying to fit things onto that because it's so much easier to use. But the big thing is it has inside-out tracking, so you don't have to have sensors. But what we're doing here is doing all the compute in the cloud with NVIDIA. So we haven't got to have any processing power used in the headset. We're using it off headset. So this is a bit of a look into some of the projects that we're working on in the future. There's going to be a video about this coming out soon. And we're doing more with Cream Productions about these dynamic digital humans. And these are really impressing everyone in the office because you can put a VR headset on and see like this guy in the middle, Dom, You can see him in a virtual space talking to you, but we can record the character in studio. So in River, in-house, we can do it all in-house. It's a 5 megabyte file on the Quest as well, which is amazing. And it is the best I've seen in a standalone headset. And this was me just talking about 3DOF and 6DOF, because Alex Foster did a great job of chatting about 3DOF and River Link the other day. And 6DOF is the ability to walk around, pick things up, and more like the things you've seen on some of these slides. But yeah, I think we did get to the end, Bronwyn. So it would be good if there is any questions, but if not, I have reached the end. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Alex. That was amazing. It's really exciting to see your work at the Leamington Spa Art Gallery and Museum as well. And we're really excited to show the results of that with the public on our social media soon.
Yeah.
We have got a question in the chat. So it's about budget, basically. How can the art sector use more of this technology when budgets are often small or non-existent? Obviously, as time goes by, hopefully it'll become more affordable, and this is something that you can get apply for a grant for, and obviously use it that way. But I wondered if you had anything you wanted to add along that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a few things. Of the software that we use, reality capture, you can actually use that for free. So you can actually just download that and practice yourself with some photogrammetry. So you can take photos with your phone as well. So the barrier to entry these days is coming down and down. You can, with an iPhone that's got LiDAR, or even not LiDAR, you can do photogrammetry on a phone. So they could scan some objects, and I do it on my phone. I think when Jonathan met me in the park recently, I showed him, I just scanned a tree with my phone and uploaded it to Sketchfab as a 3D model while I was just walking around the park. So there is levels that a lot of people can try and get into. If you're a museum, obviously, you might be able to find some sort of budgets. But if you're a smaller organization, like Alex talked about, the 360 camera is just this big, and that could do all of the things that we talked about. We did with Compton Verney, 360 video. And then obviously your phone can do some photos for photogrammetry. So yeah, and Unreal and Unity as software programs to get these models into a VR scene, they're free to use as well. So you can just do it. But obviously I'd say, yeah, you should come to us and pay us to do it. But it's getting easier for the individual to do it.
Awesome. And where do you see this sort of technology going in the short term, sort of next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, we're doing some work with obviously everyone's talking about 5G, 6G, it just keeps going on. But the real thing that we can do with that technology is we can have a 360 camera like this that just live streams from wherever. That's going to be quite soon. But the scanning of real-time places is going to be definitely where we're going to be heading. You'll be able to walk through a room, scan it, and someone on the other side of the world will just be able to walk around that at the same time. So, pretty much just after. But that's going to definitely be helping us for crime scenes. We're developing that for crime scenes so that you can walk through a scene, photogrammetry the whole scene, process the data in the cloud, and someone else in the world can view that. And that can be done for anything. So this is where we move into a minefield, and I've talked about it a lot. The digital copyright of 3D models is an interesting area to think about for me, because Warwick Castle, for example, and I'm going to say what we've been talking about. Warwick Castle allows you to take photos inside their building, or in the grounds. You can go and take a photo on your phone. So if I was there with 5 people and we all had a camera and we took 65,000 photos and then left and then made a 3D model and put it online and started using it for stuff, VR, and selling it to VFX companies, I don't know where the line is there. So I'm very interested to talk to Compton Verney and Warwick Castle and say to them, you know, if you're interested, I'd like to sign you up with us to say, I'll scan your place, your church, your monument, your anything, but then we'll work as a partnership to have it as a digital model where we can sell it and both benefit from it. I think if they sign up and say, we own the digital model of our place and it's for sale, then people, and the reason I'm talking about it like that is because people are using the 3D models that we make these days on LED panels now behind the actors for big films like Mandalorian and The Lion King. So any 3D model that's got enough photorealism and can have lighting changes on it can be used in a production to make you think that the person is at that place in an LED volume. So that's the reason I think that 3 to 5 years is going to be that virtual productions and 3D models, and who owns what? Can I scan a street and own it as a model, or have I got to visit everyone in the street? But then Google are doing it now. Google drive down the street and take a photo, and then they make a 3D model from it. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, the law needs to catch up with the technology a little bit there.
I think so.
And then one final question, just sort of scaling it back to the individual or the small gallery and the small museum, maybe teams behind the scenes really excited about this technology. What are your top tips for people who are considering using this, and where would you suggest they start? By calling you, obviously.
Yeah, you mean photogrammetry?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like I touched on a minute ago, it is the best way to start is download Reality Capture, it's free, and take some photos on your phone. Literally on your phone, go to a park and take 20 photos of a tree from every angle, just walk around it, and then let the software do the rest. But you don't even have to take the photos and upload them really to Reality Capture. Just get your phone out now. If you've got an iPhone 12 probably, or it will work on most phones, but there's different apps. One that I use is Scaniverse. So download Scaniverse, nothing to do with me. And you can just use it and upload things direct to Sketchfab for free.
And Sketchfab is a website.
Yeah, Sketchfab's a website for 3D models. And if you upload a model that you say is good enough, or imagine this cup, you can scan anything. You can do a really good job or a not so good job of the scan, and you can sell those models on there like you would early days YouTube. This is early days YouTube for 3D models. So Models and Turbo Squid's another site where you can buy and sell models. But yeah, 3D assets are going to be selling in the future. So scan everything that you've got and just put it online.
Amazing. And so for people to find out more, they come to your website? Yeah,
LinkedIn's the main one, I guess, that we post most stuff on.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, LinkedIn, and obviously Facebook, and there's a few Facebook tunnel groups for some of the people that want to follow that stuff.
Okay, awesome. So if you wouldn't mind, obviously, if anyone's got any questions, they can go to RIVR's virtual booth in the Hoover app, and I'm sure, Alex, you'd be happy to answer any questions that people may have after seeing this. Really exciting. So that concludes this RIVR photogrammetry session. The next session will be at 12:30 in 15 minutes, freelancer support. So thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you then. Thanks, Alex.
Cheers.